Greetings, this is Paul, your Pacific Northwest trail guide. I want to help you pick your next trail to explore, so let's check this one out. It seems like most hikes, you get your climbing out of the way in the beginning. I suppose because so many take you up to some scenic vista or another. You'll want to prepare for something different with this one. This in-and-out hike near the central coast of Oregon is about 6 miles long round trip and includes a climb of 1,400 feet. You begin at the highest point, around 1,500 feet elevation, and gradually descend to your destination a bit over 100 feet above sea level. Instead of climbing to some scenic vista, you'll descend to a nice campground nestled in the trees beside a creekside oasis. The trailhead for this hike is less than 12 miles from the coastal town of Waldport, Oregon. To get there, you will head east on Highway 34 out of Waldport for about 7 miles, following along the Alsea River. Then you'll be crossing a bridge over the Alsea River and turning left onto Risley Creek Road right after the bridge. You'll continue up this road, which becomes Forest Road 3446, for about 4 miles. About halfway up that stretch, the road becomes gravel and you come upon a fork which doesn't show up on the map that you bear right on. Finally, you reach a fork off to the left, which is Forest Road 346, and takes you that last little bit, less than a half mile to the trailhead. This fork is marked with a sign pointing you the correct way. While the forest road up to this point is in fairly good condition, with just some avoidable potholes, this last little stretch has a couple of significant dips that could be a problem for low clearance vehicles. You could probably park near the fork and walk up to the spur to the trailhead if you bring a car with low clearance. Let's go over just a few things you might want to consider bringing for this hike in addition to whatever you normally gear up with. First, if you're going in the wet season, you'll probably want to bring your gaiters. There's plenty of overgrowth hanging over the trail to brush your legs until they are soaked. If you go in the summer, however, I might suggest bringing a berry picking container if you like salmon berries. They are very abundant along most of this trail, and you could gather quite a bit while you're there. I really like me some huge mossy boulders. Is it just me, or are they awesome? As you begin the Harris Ranch trail hike, you first weave your way through these giants. But don't expect to see any more huge rocks until you reach the shore of Drift Creek. Continue on down the fern-lined path. You'll be following the trail straight down to the end point with no forks along the way. This trail takes you through a lush coastal Cascades forest in a fairly gradual descent and occasional glimpses through the trees at the forested hillsides that surround you. Trickles of water cross the path in a few places, giving you some mud to navigate, but the single-track trail is in pretty good shape with no serious obstacles to navigate. As the trail turns east and finishes its descent into the creek area, you approach your destination. The trail ends in a couple of nice-sized camping areas near the shore of Drift Creek. This could make for a great first backpacking experience opportunity to head down this easy 3 miles late in the day and set up camp down here by the creek for a night. There's probably room for 6 to 8 tents in this nice flat area and a decent fire pit. Right next to the campsites is a picturesque location with a large open rock bed area to hang out and enjoy. You might take some time to rest here and prepare for the climb out. You might see some raucous kingfishers darting about, and may take some time to familiarize yourself with the numerous and brave crawfish that call this area their home. Once you're filled with the peace of this place, head back the way you came for the steady climb back to the trailhead. It feels a little backwards to put in little work to get down to your goal, get all the enjoyment out of the creekside oasis, and not have to pay for it until afterwards. It's like we charged the elevation to a credit card so we can pay it off later. As you make your way out, it is definitely time to pay. It's not all that grueling or steep, but any rest you need you'll have to take for yourself, because the climb seldom lets up. You can see it as an opportunity, however, to take some longer moments to appreciate things you may have been ignorant of on the way down, be it a view out the treetops or this insane sprout-covered, uprooted tree bottom. Whether you take your time or push hard up the trail for a good workout, you might remind yourself to be present and take in as much as you can of this beautiful landscape as you make your way out. There's so much to take in if you look closely. If you were smart enough to bring a berry container, the way out might be the best time to gather. If not, hey, you can always improvise with an empty snack bag like I did. As you make your way back up, you'll soon see the familiar wide fern-lined path where the hike started and those mossy giants marking the trailhead. Okay, let's go over the overall ratings for this trail. First, let's talk about the terrain. This entire trail is in decent shape, with nothing more technical to contend with than some mud and a few trees to climb over, so we'll give it 1 rock out of 5 for terrain. For elements, again, not much to contend with here. You're shrouded in low elevation forest the whole way, so 1 clouds out of 5 for elements. Length for this round trip at just under 6 miles is pretty middle of the road for a day hike, so we'll give it 3 boots. And finally, let's rate the climb. There aren't really punishing climbs, and it's pretty spread out, but you do cover a decent bit of elevation gradually. This one gets 3 mountains out of 5 for a solid climb. Well, that's it for this edition of Pacific Northwest Trail Guide. I hope I have or will soon help you pick your next trail to explore. I scouted this trail in July of 2021, but trails are always evolving. If you pick this trail and encounter any new features or changes people might like to know about, please help out your fellow explorers by sharing in the comments on this video. This video shows some of the beautiful sights of this trail in what feeble capacity it can render. A picture may be worth 1,000 words, but an experience with all of your senses cannot even be conveyed in pictures or video, so don't take my word for it. Get out there and see it for yourself.